RJ Aguiar, and this is Rebel Report, the show that can habla de español muy bien. So I know that we get some flack for giving the Republican Party a hard time, but to be fair, they do give us a shit ton of material to work with. Backwards immigration policies, rampant use of soft slurs like anchor babies, show me your papers laws, not to mention touching moments such as this.
You and the other people here illegally don't deserve to be here.
We love you too, Papa Bear. While we won't hide the fact that we're critical of the GOP, let's also not forget that it comes from a place of love. After all, if no one points out what you're doing wrong, then how the hell are you supposed to improve? The Republican National Committee announced on Friday the 16th that Univision, the most watched Spanish language network, one that reaches 96% of Hispanic households, and frequently scores greater ratings than its English language only counterparts, would not be granted access to any of the Republican Party's 9 presidential primary debates in 2016. Which is an even bigger snub than this year's Caucasian Award, Oscar nominations, considering that presidential elections actually matter. So what's the reasoning behind this snub? According to RNC Chairman Reince Priebus, whose name sounds like it was thrown out of one of those random security word generators, told BuzzFeed that it's highly questionable whether we're treated fairly on Univision. Which is ironic because I can think of a few million people living here in the United States who would rather be treated fairly, period. But nevertheless, this snub is surprising, since it looked like the GOP was finally seeing light, what with their token minority patsy Marco Rubio, not to mention whatever the hell this is.
Ustedes se han unido con el righttorazpac.org. Gracias por el entusiasmo.
But it all looks like a coat of varnish on the proverbial turd. Just look at the response they gave to Tuesday's State of the Union. More specifically, look at who they chose to give it. Out of the long list of potentially qualified candidates, they chose Joni Ernst, whom you may recognize as...
I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm, so when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork.
And whom you should also recognize as someone who voted to make English the national language, and who sued Iowa's Secretary of State for offering voting forms in languages other than English. So yeah, they carted her out to give the official response. And this is the message that the Republican Party keeps sending to the Hispanic population. Don't contribute anything, don't try to influence our policies at all, just vote for us and then sit there and be quiet, and don't speak unless spoken to. Which seems counterintuitive, because more and more experts are saying that the Hispanic vote is going to be what makes the decision in 2016. But let's face facts, that is only going to happen if we actually turn out and vote, lest we have a repeat of last year. Don't act like you can hide behind that screen. I know that none of you fuckers out there turned out. But hey, what's done is done. Let's just make sure that we don't make the same mistake again. Look, here's my California voter registration receipt. Don't mind the various food stains. If you don't have one of these, then go out and get it now. Not later, now. We'll even put a couple links in the description to help you out. And then make sure to use this bad boy once next November rolls around. Now, we can't tell you who to vote for, obviously, but we can keep you up to date on certain facts, and then simply let those facts speak for themselves. So that's going to be our show for this week. Don't forget to follow, like, and or subscribe to us, depending on where you're watching this, so that you can see my beautiful face again next week. We'll see you guys next time. I'm RJ Aguiar, and I approve this message.